Hey everybody, welcome to Return to Krynn episode 8. We are catching back up with our companions. They are below ground under the ruins of this old outpost from the War of the Lands period, and they are hunting an Ogre Titan. Right now, Voss is looking to sneak ahead to see what's in this underground lair of sorts, and while he's at it, maybe kill a goblin or three. We'll see how it goes. You move down there, it's kind of like, muttering, I gotta do patrol, and it looks up and sees you at the last minute. Go ahead and shink. 15 will definitely hit. 17 damage again. You're just 17 damage goblins everywhere, man.
Rapiers ain't no joke.
Rapiers don't fuck around.
You will basically, as the goblin looks up and sees you, it's like, ah! And you just stab down through the chest. You pierce right through that crappy leather armor it's wearing, through its ribcage. You pierce the heart and pull back. The body twitches a second and it falls to the ground motionless.
All right, I'm going to hide the body.
You just kind of pull him along the corner, so he's kind of rested in the crook of the uncarved wall and like the jut of the ruined wall here from the basement.
What's this here?
So you see down below, there's a bench that runs across that wall there.
Okay.
And that room looks like there's a bunch of cots inside. It's probably about 25 square feet of a room. It's a mix between some actually finished walls from a ruined basement and some of the carved walls here that somebody has kind of carved this whole place out. And it's just a bunch of like torches on the wall, and then just these cots are laid out. Looks like the goblins or who else was down here sleeping. However, on the west side of the room, there's a small opening that leads into another small tunnel.
All right, I will.
I see you moving around, trying to see more shit. You can see that there's another goblin moving around down there just within your line of sight for the way the light's moving about. And from what you can gather through that narrow tunnel as it kind of twists a little bit and turns, looks like the room he's walking into is some sort of makeshift kitchen. You can hear like pots moving around, and you smell a bit of a slight scent of food just kind of moving through the air with a bit of fire and like charcoal.
It's not food.
All right. Well, I'm trying to sneak up
to
on
them
him.
it's food.
Sure.
Well, you got an amazing roll last time, and he has -1, so I'm going to say you can sneak up successfully. So go ahead and slide on through this tunnel here. You can probably get a jump on this poor little goblin. So, 20? All right, so you kill the goblin. You roll a 20, you kill the goblin. Basically, you walk up behind him as he's kind of like walking out of this little area, this small alcove in the tunnels that you see there. And he's walking back in the kitchen. You just grab him, cup his mouth from behind, and just stab him through the back. The body goes limp. I'm guessing you're pulling off to the side out of view of the hobgoblin that's kind of walking around in that kitchen area.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, you drag him back behind the wall, and peeking in, you can see the hobgoblin's actually cutting up some, looks like ham or some other type of meat that's on the countertop there.
Elf, the other white meat.
Ham.
Yep, it's thigh meat.
You do see
the other white meat.
You do see where the intersection of this room comes up with the hallway you saw that runs east and west, and another goblin is kind of walking across that hallway into a room that's to the north of that passageway.
Wonder if I should press my luck with the hobgoblin.
They are more hardy than goblins.
They are more hardy than goblins. Yeah, this is for sure. And then bardic inspiration won't help me on damage rolls, right? It's just like attack rolls and stuff.
Correct.
Right, attack and skill rolls, saves, shit like that. Not damage.
Well, to be fair, if you distract the big bad down that way, we can sneak in behind it.
Yeah, I'm gonna sneak up and stab the hobgoblin.
All right, roll your stealth one more time.
Ooh, I'm gonna need to use a dice.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
You got a 10? Yeah. Roll a dice again.
That's better.
There
That's
you go.
better.
22 is quite nice. Let's see what I can get. A 17 on the hobgoblin's notice check. He does not see you. You slide up behind him. He is wearing, let's see, what is this guy wearing? He's wearing actually chainmail. He's got a chainmail shirt that's just over his body, and he's just going to work with this meat cleaver. Let's see what you get for your damage roll, sir.
I got 25 to hit him.
You definitely hit him. 8 damage. 13 is respectable. 13 is very respectable. This poor guy is just chopping away to make dinner for everybody, and you walk up, grab his mouth, pull him back. He's like, "Ugh!" And you just cut across his throat. He spasms a second and goes limp in your arms. But let's see if that goblin that's right there manages to see you.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
He rolled a 3. He ain't seeing shit. Like, you shank this hobgoblin,
Shit.
and that
He's picking
goblin's
his
like,
nose.
what's in here? And he just walks into this room to the north. Now,
He's
from
a
what
frickin'
you can
ghost in the
see,
night.
as you look over, that room has just fields of bones. Just old bones of rotten skeletons and dead bodies.
All right. I'm going to drag the hobgoblin over, and I'm going to sit him in this chair and slump him on the table.
So you go back to the chair. The table's been set up there for people to eat. You drag the body over and you put him in the chair. And you go to the entrance of the hallway.
Boss is a serial killer.
Boss is fucking pulling some Splinter Cell shit right now.
This is
He's-
getting bad.
He's
Boss
setting
is
up
a
these
rogue.
tableaus.
He's a rogue.
Assassin's Creed dungeon.
Yeah, this is true.
Let's press our luck. I'm going to try and sneak up. I'm going to try to sneak across
No,
the
Abby,
hall
no, Abby.
Right?
All right. This
and
is going
shake
to
the last goblin.
definitely be a stealth roll. Let's see what you get.
Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
13. Yes, it is. 13, and the goblin gets an 8, and the hobgoblin
Oh, there's another hobgoblin? Fuck.
gets a 10. You sneak by, but as you pass that hallway, you can see a goblin and a hobgoblin are walking towards that hallway, and they just turn to look behind them at the moment you slide across the hall towards that other goblin. Go ahead and roll your attack. Oh my
Oh,
god.
I rolled a 1. I need to use a dice.
Oh!
I gotta
As we
use a dice, folks.
As we send our rogue murder machine to go clear out the bottom floor.
That's 17 to hit him.
Well,
You
here's the
definitely
worst
hit
part.
this poor little guy.
The worst part about all of this is that he
Oh,
went to go
wow.
check to see what was
15.
down there. We don't know that he's killing all these people. We just know he's down there to see what we're up against.
I am concerned about his alignment at this point.
Why? He's
Hey,
doing his class to
I was told, Carol said,
Doing the Lord's
goblins.
work.
Like, hey, they're all evil creatures.
Oh my
He's
god.
kicking ass for the Lord right now, all right? Let him be.
Yeah.
So
Christ,
They
Christ.
murdered
As-
women and children.
as you kill this poor defensive goblin, you see in this room scattered about there are a couple of old weapons. There's some long swords, some daggers. You see the glint occasionally of some silver or gold in the torchlight in this room that's illuminating like these stacks upon stacks of skeletons. What you will note definitely for sure is that the skeletons in this room, they're not all really, really old. Some are like a couple of months old at the most, maybe a couple of weeks. These are dead bodies of all like stages of decay.
It's a bad sign. Since he's already conveniently in the corner, I'll just leave his body there.
Whatever's convenient for you, mass murderer.
This is his design.
I'm cleansing the
taking
world of
trophies.
evil.
So
There's nothing else. There's nothing else in this room.
no, it looks like that the as you go north, where part of the wall is broken down, and it kind of leads into like a little more of this earthen hued tunnel. It's just a round portion of a cave. Looks like somebody just carved out. And there's more bodies in there. Like as you step
okay.
into there, the light of the torches don't quite reach here, so you actually step into some more fresh corpses. And when you come back out, like you've got blood on your hands and on your feet.
All right.
Ew.
Well, now that I've kind of got an angle on these other things that are over here, I'll wait until they turn and then try and make my way back across the hall into the kitchen.
Okay, so you're just gonna kind of wait it out.
Yeah, I'll wait a little bit until they wander off or move, so that it's not as difficult for me to shoot past.
I've got a -1 wisdom. This goblin ain't seeing shit, but it goes back into the room, and it looks over at the hobgoblin that's been slumped into the chair at the table,
Fuck.
dead as it is, and it's like, I gotta do it now. You're supposed to do it, and just picks up that cleaver that it dropped when you killed it, and starts hacking away at the meat, and just mutters like some of the worst goblinoid slurs you can hear about hobgoblins under its breath as it's chopping away.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
Hobgoblin
sneak up.
though passes you. Doesn't seem to be looking down that way, just because it's distracted by the goblin that's arguing. It's walking down the hall towards your companions.
All right. Well, there's more of them than it, so I'm gonna sneak up on this goblin and kill it, or try and kill it.
This is his design. I'm telling you.
Roll
I'm
your
gonna handle
attack.
Lecter over here.
You know what? You know what? I don't think the encounter is dickish anymore.
I'm starting to be a little
No.
concerned.
We still haven't.
No, we still haven't
dealt
gone
with
against the
real
Titan yet.
problem. Is the
The
problem.
map is being used very tactically, so I have to say, good job to us.
Mm-hmm.
15
You
hits him,
fucking-
right?
You fucking psychopath.
Oh yeah,
Decided.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a goblin. Like between your normal attack and your backstab, you
12.
definitely kill it.
Okay. I'm gonna put him at the other. I'm gonna put him in this chair here.
You slide him to the chair where his dead buddy Hobgoblin's sitting at. You put
Yeah.
his corpse there.
And then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wait here. Oh wait, I'm gonna wait here at the corner until, because I'm not worried about the hobgoblin and my companions. I think they're gonna hop out and attack him. When that happens, I want to come up behind it. I'm gonna wait.
All right, so you guys that are kind of crouching behind this fallen wall, you hear footsteps coming down the hall. From the
Nisrath
stone that
actually-
remains.
Peek to look. See what it is.
You will see a hobgoblin walking towards you. He's walking towards the end of the hall. He's wearing this chainmail outfit. He's got a long sword like over one shoulder, just walking casually like he's on patrol. Didn't seem to see you. You just very quickly peek.
Decisions.
I'll look at her and be like, well,
She'll shrug,
is
and
it
I'm
him?
gonna jump.
She didn't even say who it was. She's just like,
I'll actually just go right into Blade Song and stab him. Carol said they all had to die. They will all die.
right, but you didn't let us know it was a hobgoblin.
She's just like,
Right
Oh, that's
now,
great.
right now, my saving
That-
grace
that's
is
easy.
that
It's just gonna
I'm
be
not
wild
the
ahead
one
of the
killing
damn
them. Wow, that's a crit.
well, you crit. So
Yes, I do.
you basically slide out from around the wall. This hobgoblin sees you at the last one's like, oh, and goes up, draw its blade. You slink down and around, stab once, stab twice, and then just with your daggers and finish it off as you follow the flow of the blade song. And it slumps against the wall, dead.
She'll just pull it around the corner.
Prestidigitation, the blood off of the wall.
You're like, no. Like he literally is like sprays a little thing on the wall and the blood fades from view.
He's a little squeegee. little dwarf-sized squeegee. Oh,
Well,
there's
seeing
Carol.
that, I'm gonna make my way back the way that I came.
Okay. So you start making your way back down through the tunnels, go through the cot room, and slide up to the hallway. Taking a peek down, you don't see anything there immediately.
And then I'll head up and regroup.
Okay. You make it across the hall. You see that hobgoblin that you had seen walking down the hall has been dealt with. Several stab wounds on its body.
A point. Nice work.
Thank you.
So south is clear.
All is clear.
If you go south, and then there's a little tunnel west and back up into a kitchen area that then leads back out into the hall that we're looking down the west. And then a little bit west of that is where the Ogre Titan was. And I think there's at least one other thing in there. I don't know what it is, though.
I have an
Something.
idea. I have two ideas. I just need to know which one is better. All right. So the first one is obviously we all sneak and we go in there and we do what we can as quietly as possible, again, potentially without incident. Or you all make your way down into that kitchen. I'll start playing a tune. And as they come down the hallway, you flank them from behind.
Would you like some protection before you wind up smushed again?
I like that idea. I like it.
Sure. Yeah. Any protection is perfect for me, but I'm not, don't get me wrong. I'm not standing in the hallway. I'll stand over here so they have to come down and around, giving you guys time. And then we kind of pincer them. I'll
Good.
keep one or two here with me. Everybody else go to the kitchen.
I will leave a cloud of stabby things between you and them.
I don't know what that means, but cool.
The less I move, the less noise I make. So I'll stay here with you, Dade.
Rin will whisper in the language of magic again. He'll cast Mage Armor on Dade.
Okay, so who's coming with me?
I will stay with you. I stab things well.
And Nisrath is going to walk off as well.
Mhm.
He
She'll go,
will.
boss.
I'll follow them.
He'll cast another Mage Armor to almost cap out his 4th level spells and cast it on Nisrath.
I'll point to the people going to the kitchen, and I'll just kind of pantomime 2 minutes, and then I'm going to start playing.
I'll nod. And I will head off down and lead whoever's coming with me
I will join him.
back down south.
I will also
I'll-
join boss.
I will let those know that are
Fine.
staying here with me. You guys position yourselves on the room, so when they do come around and see me, you will still have the ability to act while they're looking at me. I'm going to be in the wide open, so hide in corners, whatever you got to do.
Rin will stay where he is by one of the walls. He's nestled there kind of in the corner. So I'm guessing you guys are all going to the kitchen area?
Yep.
Yep, by way of
Okay.
that tunnel.
I'd say, can we just hop there at this point?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Ray, I'm actually going to position myself by this wall so I can see
Okay.
down that hallway.
Okay.
And before he starts playing and doing his stuff, I'm going to whisper a magical incantation.
Okay.
Right about here-ish. Cloud of daggers. I said I was going to
Yeah.
give him protection. I didn't say it was going to be armor.
All right. So the cloud of
Creative.
daggers will fill the air with spinning daggers and keep it 5 feet on each side.
And it's anywhere within 60 feet of me, and I've already counted. That's
should
within 60
wait.
feet.
You should wait until they get there and then be like,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah, that's an ambush move.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's an
that's
ambush
totally
weapon
fine too.
Yeah.
I mean, they take damage as soon as the spell drops. So
Yep.
Yeah. So it's
That's
better to
fine.
just release it as soon as you get them in that spot.
That's fine.
So-
So I'm sitting there with it prepared.
All right. Everybody's in position.
So what I'm going to do, Ray, is I'm going to sling my
Are
drum
you
around.
in position, Jeff?
I am. I'm right in the middle of the room. It's exactly where I want to be.
Okay.
Correction on mine.
Going across the hall.
Yeah, I think so. But I did want to just get a quick overview, real quick, on that kitchen. There wouldn't happen to be like a big pot of grease there, would there be?
Sure.
Okay.
pot
we
of
go.
grease
I'd like
is
to
moving.
bring that with me.
Okay. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck, you pick it up. You're like,
I mean, it's Elvish grease, but yeah.
that's
Yeah.
rendered fat. Same thing. All right.
Yeah.
So you make it
It's
across the
slightly more
hall
lean than normal
Yeah.
grease.
with this boiling pot of grease. And
Just duck there.
does Dade begin to play?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sling my drum around. I'll have my rapier in one hand, and I'll just start rhythmically pounding the drum. And then in a low cadence, do like a sinister song of doom or some shit.
Or some shit.
or
Or some shit. Something like that. Well,
Are
either
you-
way,
I
it's going to
forget.
sound good.
You know, I forget.
25.
Are you guys good aligned? I forget.
I'm chaotic good, so
All right, so you start playing on your drums, and
start singing down with the sickness.
you'll immediately hear
I'm at
Footsteps.
25 for my performance.
start emerging from that hall. 2 hobgoblins will start stepping down the hallway. They're drawing closer as time passes. And
Pop it.
Okay, I would say that's where you want to do it.
Yep.
You cast your ridiculous spell. Go ahead and roll 4d4. Click on the little damage icon.
Cold-blooded.
This is silly. 9? So
I am Nisrath, the Cuisinart.
That's awesome.
this poor hobgoblin walks in, and all of a sudden, this mystical cloud of daggers appears around it. It just starts slicing through its flesh. This is almost like a scene out of Hellraiser's blood splattering against the wall, and it screams in shock and terror as it just gets assaulted out of nowhere by daggers. It nearly gets killed this first turn. It drops to its knees, drops its longsword on the ground as it's bleeding all over the worked stone of this passageway.
Red mage.
The creature with it draws its blade and starts looking around, like pointing the sword in all directions. What are you guys doing?
Hey,
Grease.
boss.
Fire.
Grease and then fire.
Never mind. Boss, stay here.
You're tossing on the hobgoblin?
Grease
Or just across the floor?
prestidigitation. Just across the floor, actually, creating difficult terrain effectively.
Yep. So you'll throw this grease on the floor, and then you light it on fire with prestidigitation.
Oh yeah, campfire.
You manage that just to snick, and you guys will feel the heat before you hear the wash of fire just start filling the cavern in this area. Like it fills that entire part of the hallway. The hobgoblin that's there, as he's scrambling around, does have to make a dex save. Let's see if he falls down, because if he does, that's not going to be fun for him.
Please slip.
He doesn't fall, but he will take.
Spell, technically.
Yeah, it's not a thing, but he wants to keep his footing. So we'll deal him a little bit of damage here. Let's go with
I was hoping he'd fall backwards into my cloud.
3. So he starts to light a fire a bit on his feet. He's like, panicked, and looks up and sees Jorg. That's where the fire came from, that direction. He looks up and sees you in the din of the flame, but between you and him, there's just a floor of fire. So whether or not he's going to try to cross it is really up to debate right now. Let's go ahead and roll initiative at this point. All right, so what do we got for Carol?
16.
16. Sybil?
5.
Dade?
8.
What about Jorg?
20.
Nisrath?
15.
And let me see about Rin really quick.
What was your Sean?
20. Wow.
I haven't been asked.
Oh.
I'm waiting to be called.
Yeah, I'm
on.
going down the list here. What is Voss's?
12.
All right, so top of the turn, we have Jorg followed by Rin. What are you guys doing? So guys, what are you doing? You see that this hobgoblin sees you, but there's a lot of fire between you and him, and it doesn't seem too confident about waiting through the fire to get to you.
I think that crossbow bolts don't have to worry about fire. So I've basically dropped the pot, grab crossbow.
The pot cleans the ground, you pull your crossbow up, take aim, and fire. Go ahead and roll your damage. Or damage, jeez. I'm skipping the attack roll, guys. I'm just in a weird mood.
I've
Go ahead and
got to
make your
hit.
attack
You know,
roll.
there's a good chance that I'm going to hit. It's a pretty good chance. Or not. I may not. I'd like to use a die on that.
Sure, no problem.
I think you would like to use a dice, yes.
Yeah. Much better.
Much better.
A 20 is a much better hit. You will most certainly hit this hobgoblin as he's kind of like pondering his future. Go ahead and roll your damage.
There isn't anything that'll let me reroll damage, is there?
Negative. So you do 4. He had taken 2 earlier, so he's got a total of 6. When you shoot him, the crossbow hits him like right in the bicep of his left arm, and he's just like, and just growls and looks at you. He raises his blade, just points it at you across the flame, like threatening you from where he's at. But he doesn't like he really wants to venture through that fire just yet.
As
That's
a bonus
fine.
action,
Okay?
say hello to my little friend.
The bird.
Sanger has a force attack.
Boom. Yes, it does.
Nice.
Not fantastic. Misses.
Yeah, that's going to be an 8. That's going to miss, unfortunately. The raven flies by, and you see the hobgoblin just kind of throws himself back and actually swats at it with the flat of its blade. Doesn't hit the bird. The bird just flies back around and comes back towards your direction, but the attack, unfortunately, does not hit, which leads us to Rin. Rin will 1, 2, 3 duck out of here. See that this one's dying, this one's partially on fire and just had a bird caw, but he's going to melt acid arrow. 17 will have it hit, and we'll do the damage for the acid arrow. 16 damage.
Damn.
He maxed it out. So the guy's on fire goes bye-bye as an acid arrow just splashes against his side and starts eating through his armor and his chest. He screams and falls into the grease flames, which brings us to Carol.
I will move to here and prepare my crossbow.
So you get a good line of sight straight down the hall.
Yep, straight down the
your
hallway.
crossbow, which brings us to Nisrath.
Can I see this person?
Yes, you can. You can just see his shoulder.
Cool.
So you're in this intersection essentially of the hallways. You can see this guy's shoulder right around the wall in the larger room. There's a brazier behind him that's kind of casting a bit of light behind him. That's why you can see part of him.
Whoosh.
What you doing?
More daggers.
Oh no.
Okay.
I was about to caution you about dropping your concentration spell, but the other thing's dead already, so it doesn't really matter.
No, that one's still
Not
looping
the
around
one.
at 2 hit points.
Oh, it is. If you cast another cloud of daggers, it'll
The first one
remove
will
the
drop.
other one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just roll damage off that. 3 damage. So you'll pop this guy with a missile.
Now my friends know there's somebody else back there.
Yes. And
Oh,
you'll see
whopping
it
thrice.
impact around his shoulder and kind of jerk him like a little back away from the wall, which brings us to the Ogre Titan at a 12.
Did it sound human?
Yes, it did. So the Ogre Titan will cast a spell. Okay, which brings us to the bandit that just got shot. As you see him kind of peek around the corner, again, kind of just shuffles to the edge of the corner there, and can see Sybil more directly. Shoot with the light crossbow. Blink. Does an 18 hit.
Who's he shooting?
Sybil.
Light crossbow? You?
Okay, yeah. 18 does hit.
The bolt hits you right in the shoulder for a total of 5 damage. Bink. Which brings us to Voss.
Well,
You can see that the fire is still burning from the grease fire that's across the hallway floor. You can see the fact that Sybil has just got hit by a crossbow bolt in the shoulder. You can hear the whimpering cries from the hobgoblin that's been shredded almost to death further down the hall.
it's this
do you
guy,
do?
right?
Yep, that's that one. He's on his hands and knees, has dropped his longsword. He is definitely just bleeding out.
Well, I don't want to step into the line of fire there. I don't want to go walking across fire. I guess I could. I'll pull my short bow and take a shot at this dude.
This poor bastard.
Yeah.
All right, you wee bastard. You got to go. Bink. I'm not going to give him his
Go to
death
sleep.
bonus, so go ahead and roll your attack. 21 will definitely hit him. Go ahead and roll your
That's
damage.
You only need 2.
He
8.
does an 8. That
I'm gonna hit him
hobgoblin,
with that night button.
as
Yes,
that
I
hobgoblin kind of rears up and just cries out in pain, a crossbow bolt strikes him right in the back and knocks him forward, where he finally shudders his last breath and dies. So after our phenomenal rogue of hellish reputation goes, it's Sybil.
Oh. Well, that dude shot me, so he's got to get his comeuppance.
5 for a 5.
You shot me? You shot me?
1, 2, 3.
Shot my motherfucking pinky toe.
Nobody makes her bleed her own blood.
And I will make a glaive attack against that dude right there. Dude who shot me.
So it spins up, glistens in the firelight, and you just pow, strike out.
Mm-hmm.
Roll your attack.
That's going to be a 21.
A 21 will most certainly hit. Feel free to roll your damage.
Oh,
Well,
damage.
Well, as I see that this thing trying to tell me that I was a jerk is full of utter shit. See, I told you. You
still afraid of this
aced this
Titan.
poor bastard.
It doesn't take into account player tactics. That is true.
No, not at all. So you'll swing out your glaive, and this guy drops his crossbow, and he goes to reach for his sword. As he reaches for his longsword, you pull back with the glaive and just spear him right through the stomach and rip him up to his sternum. He gurgles a bit, falls to his knees, and as you pull the blade free, just falls over in front of you.
A 9-man team. Fucking insulting.
Fucking it. Should have taken the money, Tombs.
And I will, might be a mistake, but I will use my last 5 feet of movement to move up.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
So that brings us to Jorg, the top of the round.
Negative. You forgot us Lobies.
Oh, yeah, I did. I forgot Dade. Dade was actually before Sybil. What's Dade doing?
I'm gonna be playing by yabba 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 as I walk around, so it gets louder for him. I'm drawing people out to die.
All right, you're a jerk, but I get it. Yeah, that brings us to top to York.
My positioning needs to be such that I get a good look at that room.
All right, so you're just going to slide out of the room that you're in. Now, you'll have the fire from the grease behind you. Now, it will be slowly dying down.
I'm gonna stick with this. I'm gonna stick with this position actually,
Okay.
because I can still peek around that corner, right? Effectively.
Right. Yep. So you basically slide on down and you can see around the corner through that east-west hallway into the larger room that cauldron of blood is still there, that bathing pool of blood. You can see 2 braziers right past the entrance that are lighting up this room with the assistance of torchlight from each corner.
Yeah, I don't trust the thing might have a fireball, sort of a thing. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to. I think I also will use up my action to turn off the flame.
Okay.
All right. So that's extinguish the flame, and I think I'll have Sanger fly into the room and scout it out. That's my bonus on the bonus.
It flies on through and it's starting to look around. It lets you know as it gets to this room, there's actually a passageway to the south and to the west. Looks like parts of the wall have been broken down, and there's 2 different passageways here that split off.
But there doesn't appear to be anyone there.
Not that it can sense or see. Which brings us to Rin. Rin will slowly make his way down the hall.
I will drop the cloud of knives so Rin doesn't get hit.
The fire's gone. Let's see. He will stand at the ready. Like, he's got his dagger in hand. He's looking down the hallway. He looks back at everybody else and looks at those of you that he can see, and just seems to be just readying himself. Which brings us to Carol.
I'll move to here, and wait. If something pops out, I'm gonna fire at it.
Which brings us to, after that, Nisrath.
So if I move into here just briefly, that thing of blood, does it look like it can be knocked over
Where are you moving to?
Ooh, that's good.
here?
That's
You
very
cannot
good.
move there.
I can't move from here to here?
No, you can't move that square.
Huh, interesting. So trying
You
to
can
get
move-
past that square.
You can move right to there, but you can't move there.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So I can't move past.
Correct.
Nothing I can physically see blocking me?
Nope.
Logically speaking, there is nothing there to block me.
It's
You
not
just know
escape.
you-
You
you
don't
You just know you
realize it.
can't. You just know you can't move past that point. You look up. You're like, no.
Your brain's tricked into thinking you can't move there.
I was
Or-
thinking more, can I magic missile with the darkness here?
No. You have to have a target.
I meant more like, can I stab it?
Sure, but you're going to be acting as if you're completely blind.
No, because I am completely blind until it decides to pop out and hit one of us. Nisrath will just go, this is weird. I can't move.
Into the next initiative. I need everybody. Let's see. I need Jorg, Sybil, Nisrath, and Voss to make a Constitution save. Your DC is going to be 18.
I'm at an
Oh,
18 before the +3.
So you guys take 6. What type of damage? 6 thunder damage.
Jesus.
Oh no.
And push back 10 feet.
No, you don't. Not you made the save. You don't get pushed back. As he casts Thunder Wave, this beautiful blue-skinned creature appears. He's probably about 7.5 feet tall. He's wearing this like amazing like white and red robe that is sleeveless that comes down to a very nice like leatherworked belt around his waist. His muscle tone is slender but almost perfect. His features are finely chiseled. His eyes have now turned to a soft yellow color. He's got black hair swept back and is glistening in the light of the room. And his ears are come to a pointed tip. He looks like a larger version of an elf that's buff, but blue and beautiful. And his presence just resonates power. And that brings us to Voss.
All right, so Voss is going to flank this thing and stab it. I've got
23.
a 23 to hit him.
Well, your 23, I will be happy to tell you, definitely hits. Definitely
Excellent.
hits.
And since there's no other enemies around, I want to use my ability because then my ability makes my sneak attack damage necrotic damage. But it would deal an extra d6 to another enemy around, but since there's another enemies around, that kind of sucks. But I still want to hit him with the necrotic damage on my sneak attack dice. So here is regular,
5. Okay, not bad.
and then 10 necrotic.
So another 5. So as your necrotic wave hits it, you realize that this thing's flesh is not being affected by the necrotic damage the way you would expect. It has a bonus to his resistance against necromancy spells and necrotic damage. So yeah, you stab it and definitely do the extra damage, but it's definitely not that necrotic like pulse that usually hits out from a wave when you hit something with this doesn't seem to really take hold the way you would expect. There's some damage there, a little bit of rot in the flesh, but it's like this beauty refuses to be marred. Which brings us, after Voss, to Dade.
I'm going to continue the melodic tones, and I'm going to cast Bane on him.
Let's see what his spell save is.
It is a charisma, so he has to make a charisma save, which is probably pretty decent because he's a beautiful thing, so that sucks. But hey, let's just hope he fails, right?
Oh my god. He rolled a 2. So you got 8. He'll take a dice. Charisma save plus 6. 25.
Definitely beats my fucking... He needed to beat a 13, I think. So yeah, he blows it out of the water.
Which brings us to Sybil.
Well, there's a thing in front of me. I'm gonna stab it.
Go ahead and roll
Sybil
your
is-
attack.
Sybil is taking the Nisrath approach to things. Oh, look,
I'm a-
thing, stab.
It's like I am a very simple woman. I see bad thing, I stab it. I am confident with that. 20.
20 will hit. You'll swing out with a glaive after a bit of hesitation and strike. You'll see that this Titan will raise this beautiful scepter that just really seems to materialize out of thin air into its hand. It tries to whack away at your blade, but that last hesitation had you pause just as the scepter swung by, and you just bring the blade down across its chest. So go ahead and roll your damage.
4.
4 damage. You'll just graze the beautiful blue flesh in front of you. Doesn't seem to do much. Just knocks a bit, like a little indentation into the flesh, and just a little trickle of blood flows down the chest. And that brings us to
This
the
is gonna
top,
go poorly.
which is Jorg.
So, I am annoyed. He just used thunder on me. I'm going to show him thunder. I'm going to probably reach into my backpack and grab what's probably looks like a scroll case that I can shake the end of it out and drop an eldritch cannon.
Oh no.
I'm gonna have to
This
acrobatics my
man
ass
said
out of here.
Eldritch
Right on.
Cannon.
Right on.
Yeah.
I love the sound of
Tiny
that.
one. It's a
I need
tiny
to
one.
make an icon for your cannon so you can move it around the board because it does move. So
Yeah.
So, somebody said boom. It was
Yes.
Jorg.
But I can't tell whether or not I can actually fire this turn.
depends on what
I
type of
think
action
I
it is.
can, because the action is summoning it, and I think I'm only telling it to act with my bonus action anyway. So I believe I can still have
Yeah.
it fire.
Yeah, if it's an action to summon, then you get a bonus action to control. Yeah, bonus action.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's your bonus action. You summon it for your action, and then
Yeah.
bonus action will attack.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm actually gonna use because everybody else is in the way.
Mhm.
I'm gonna use the force ballista version. Not fantastic. That's only like 12. I'm gonna use a die.
Okay,
How many do we have left, if any?
you guys have 30 after this.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
still
we're good.
Pretty good. 20
For now.
roll it.
Be alright.
Much better.
But so is he,
17.
so
Will hit.
So
17 will hit.
17 plus 6. So
You'll hit with a
that's,
17.
Yeah.
So he's at a 14 armor class. That's just his natural armor. But you get your 2d8 force damage.
Yeah. 2d8.
Please roll good.
You got
Not
12.
bad.
That's not
Not
bad at
bad.
all.
Not bad at all.
The force hits the ogre's chest, and you see him like get ready to get pushed back. His shoulders do hit the wall, but you'll see his eyes start to glow a more baleful orange at this point in time as we get to the next person in initiative, which is Rin.
Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing. I'm also taking a 5-foot step back so that I'm out of range of his thunder wave in case he decides to do the same thing again.
Legit. No problem at all. Rin has already cast Acid Arrow. Let's see what I have left for spells. Rin's going to move forward, and he is going to cast Blindness/Deafness on this guy, which means that he is going to
Come on,
have to
Rin.
roll a con save. Let's see what happens with that con save. 14.
I will expend my reaction to give him a
Oh.
d6 towards that save.
Roll a d6.
Everyone
You need a 5 or a
Plus-
6.
plus 4.
Oh, he
damn
beat the
it.
save by 1.
Damn.
Oh, all right. So
I don't suppose this would be a situation where we could take one of those die, would it? Or is it only
No.
d20s?
no, it's only with the d20 rolls. So skill
Okay.
checks, saving throws, attack, things like that. So Rin casts blindness / deafness, and you'll see the Ogre Titan look like he gets hit by something, but then just shakes it off and looks back at the white robe mage. And Rin just starts fumbling for spell components at his waist, which brings
I
us
would
to
too.
it's like shit.
Like shit, fuck.
Which brings us to Carol.
I'm going to go ahead and drop the crossbow. I'm going to grasp my holy symbol, and I will begin that lilting chant that I've done before. I'm casting Guiding Bolt. 18 to hit.
18 will hit.
That's legit.
Nice.
13. Nice.
Ouch.
Okay.
That's-
As my bonus action, I'll be casting Spiritual Weapon, which will appear right here. It's gonna be a glowing blue staff.
So that brings us to Nisrath.
So he's noticed my white mage. I don't want him noticing my white mage.
Oh, he's also illuminated in radiance because it's radiant damage. So the next attack gets advantage.
Okay.
Loss.
Good, because I get advantage anyway.
Well, you only get it once.
I know.
Yep.
Unless I use a dice.
Yep. So what are you doing?
I'm a blade songy bitch.
Okay.
Stabby, 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 stab, 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 stab. 23.
Yeah, that hits. Definitely hits. Almost crit too. That's pretty badass. 6, respectable. So you guys are stabbing him. You're fucking casting spells. He's starting to bleed from all the like superficial wounds you have given him. He does look a little worse for wear at this point. You see blood starting to mat, and you've cut through some of that, his robe. So now his bare chest is open, and he's got blood streaming down it from the half a dozen or so cuts he's gotten and injuries. There's a little bit of blood coming from his nose as he's been hit with that forescan that did a little bit of internal damage. And he looks up at all of you and hefts this scepter of power in one hand, and you can hear the knuckles crack as he looks around those that have gathered around him to surround him. He looks to Voss, and looks to Sybil, and goes to slam an attack at Voss as he brings his massive scepter down towards your head.
That could be bad.
26, which I know hits.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Narrow
And-
hit.
It almost hits
Narrow.
twice.
His damage is 11 as he hits you.
I am going to expend a reaction. One, I'm going to make a melee attack against him because of Sentinel.
Yep.
Sentinel's a son of a bitch.
Use your reaction. Okay, so that's a reaction.
At level 4, Sybil needs Mage Killer.
Mage Slayer's amazing.
No, I got other stuff planned, but
Yeah.
Fair.
Polearm Master.
Yeah, I think so.
you said it was how much damage?
11.
Okay, I'll forgo the attack and I'll instead use my reaction to use interception. So I will roll a 1d10. So Voss negates 8 damage from that attack.
Ooh, Voss will take 8.
Nice.
I'm just kidding. Voss will take Voss will take 8. Voss will only take 3, as literally the glaive shoots out and actually pins into the wall and the brick that's there as the scepter comes down and deflects the majority of the blow before Sybil pulls it back and yanks it free of the wall. You see the
That's
Ogre
cool.
Titan look over at her and just growls and brings that scepter back and goes to smash it down towards Sybil. 27.
Crit?
I
You didn't
cannot
crit. I
do
rolled a
anything to
19.
help you.
Okay. I mean that's gonna hit.
And you will take a total of 16 damage.
Ooh.
Yeah, it gets plus
Out of
4
your
strength.
400 hit points.
Blow! After that, the turn reverts back to Voss. How bad, though, did Sybil get hit?
It was a pretty hefty strike. On a scale of 1 to 41, she looks about a 20-ish.
So, this is why it's important not that those other 2 ogres become Ogre Titans. So, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
All right. So that gives us to Voss. Voss can see that Sybil has taken the brunt of this attack at this point. The Ogre Titan's attention has switched to your glaive wielder. What do you do?
I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna attack him. I'm trying to stab him with my rapier.
Okay.
That's about all I can do. And it's a 23.
23 will definitely hit.
And I'm not gonna do my necrotic thing this time because it didn't seem to work so well on him. Ugh.
8 damage.
8.
Not bad. Could have been better. You basically go to stab as he's moving against Sybil and just grazes across his back and starts cutting a bit into that blue flesh. Which brings us to Dade.
Dade will point angrily at it, and I will be I will be singing dissonant whispers at 2nd level.
What's the spell save?
He needs to make a wisdom spell save.
14.
That is the number you need to hit. So you will only take half of these 46.
Ooh.
3 ones and a 4.
3.
Oh.
I'll take half, so 3. Shit.
It's still starting to. You're wearing this thing down slowly, but you're wearing
It's
it
all
down.
psychic damage.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Which brings us to Sybil.
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to take a bonus action to use Second Wind.
Ah,
All right. 5 plus 3, gain back 8.
not bad. Not bad.
About half what he dealt me. And I will make a glaive attack against him.
Okay.
Knock his block off, buddy.
That's a 20.
That will hit. It will most certainly hit. You just bring that the glaive up the bear and strike true
There we go.
for 11.
Burrito
Wow.
Nice.
Called him a sexy giant smurf.
Yep.
So you bring this blade, and when you drive the glaive forward, you basically slice across the ribs and through, and you stab through the side and pin him to the wall for a second before he wrenches free. He's starting to bleed significantly at this point. You're definitely starting to get to the point where this beast now looks like it's reacting more out of anger and rage and wanting to smash you guys than like any sort of planning. Because it's boxed in. It's not like it can go invisible and vanish again. It's getting fucked over at this point in time. Which
It thought it was
brings
being
us-
smart. It was not.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
To be fair, we ambushed it right after it was born.
You did. Which brings us to York.
I'm actually going to step back out of line of sight and peek around to shoot this guy with the crossbow. And you'll probably notice at this point that I haven't actually had to load my crossbow.
Usually takes an
because
action.
infusion.
He's
There's
got
a
the
little
Rambo
mechanism
crossbow.
on there that seems to be generating an arrow. Or bolt. Come on, where'd you go? Crossbow
Thing
again.
with a pointy stabby tip.
Oh yeah.
20. Oh, it's a 20.
Natural 20.
Yes.
Rit.
Riplicious.
That's what we need.
Delicious, delicious.
26?
Oh
God
my
damn.
Yeah. Right there.
So York comes around with this magical fucking crossbow like Rambo and takes aim. Squeezes the trigger. Doesn't pull it. And once that arrow just ping, exits the end of the crossbow, you'll see Arkan, the Ogre Titan, kind of turn and swings that scepter out like he's going to try to intercept the crossbow bolt, but he swings just a little bit too fast. And as the scepter passes the line of sight and the path of the crossbow, it slams right into his eyeball and drives him against the wall. You'll hear this gurgling and just scream of pure pain and rage rip out of its throat before it drops to one knee, tries to push itself back up, and then just finally falls flat on the stone at the feet of all three of you around it.
I
had
have seen
23 hit
zombie
points
movies.
left.
I'd say I have seen zombie movies. I'm making sure this thing's dead.
Yeah.
I am making sure that Sybil is alive, and I will cast Cure Wounds on Sybil.
Oh, trust me, Sybil has the same idea. As soon as it drops to the ground, she brings the glaive up and goes to chop its fucking head off.
Sybil will magically heal 13 hit points.
Thank you.
As the soothing tones of Dade flow through the cavern.
Is anybody else injured?
Yeah, I'm a little bit fucked up.
I'm not nearly as fucked up as Voss is.
I got zapped and then whacked.
I got zapped. That was it.
You guys will see
But,
Ren like look over, like, are we sure it's and then he sees you it's dead.
Burn the stumps.
The only
We
way to
need
be
to-
sure is to light it on fire.
We got torches and braziers in that room. Ren will kind of point.
Good.
We
Nisrath will
can
start
move-
dragging
can we
the
move around
body.
freely,
He'll
Ray?
kill it.
Yes, you can.
I'm going to move into this room here. Is this thing movable?
Sure,
Everybody,
Jack. Take my
everybody
idea.
heals 10.
Uh,
Prayer of healing.
Oh, sweet. As you walk up, you see that it looks like it's one massive piece of stonework that's been set into the floor.
I'll turn around and, hey, Carol, we can't knock this over. It's built into the floor. Is there something we could do to make it to where this blood is no good for them to use anymore?
I'll go ahead and walk up, and I will take out my hammer and start beating it.
You guys will
stone.
see there are bits of elf floating around in the blood.
Ugh.
But with Carol pulling out the hammer and breaking away, working at that stonework, it'll start to break and chunk, and some will start to splash onto the ground. And in I'd say about 5 or 10 minutes, he has managed to break enough of a hole into it that the blood's all just streaming out onto the floor.
Hey, Ray, I'm dragging the body onto that brazier.
Okay.
We are burning a bitch.
Nisrath reaches down and grabs the remains of the Ogre Titan and literally dumps it on one of the massive braziers with coals and flame burning it in this room. And the body starts to sizzle and snap and pop. You guys smell that horrific smell of burning flesh in the air.
That scepter still there?
No, it vanishes.
He was holding? Okay.
As soon as he gets gacked, essentially the scepter starts to dematerialize.
Once he's burning.
I'd like to check the human for any scrolls, books.
The human has a crossbow, some bolts on him, and a longsword. Now I can see that Nisrath is going up into the room up north. That
Curious
looks like
robot is curious.
a very large bedroom. You see this bed off to the right-hand side that's been, well, relatively made. It's a large bed, like larger than you would expect for like a human. There's a small table at the north end of this room because it's shaped like a teardrop essentially, with a rounded north side that kind of comes around to the narrow tunnel that leads into the broken part of the wall that leads into the ritual room you're just in. And at the top of that, there's a small table with a bunch of small accoutrements, poultices and herbs and other sorts of, looks like mystical ingredients, given you're a mage. There is a silver chest against the left wall that you can see, and a small burlap sack right by the chest, just leaning against it.
Rin, Carol, you may want to see this.
I'll start heading in.
You emerge into this large bedchamber. You can see that Nisrath is kind of pointing at this chest. There's a sack and a bunch of, looks like spell components that are being ground up with a mortar and pestle on this table on the north part of the room.
Rin is still back there.
Oh, yeah. Rin is like, huh? What? As Ray didn't realize you called Rin. He'll make his way up. He will cast detect magic, and
Because I can't do that.
he'll whisper the spell, and he'll point into the chest. There's something in there.
So,
Two
Maybe
somethings,
Boss.
actually.
Maybe
you gonna go
stand
first,
back.
buddy?
I will open it to see what it is, but I recommend everyone else stand back.
So Nisrath opens the chest.
Yeah.
You'll see there's a bunch of coins in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's also some gems scattered about, but you see a small like potion vial and a wand.
She will hold her hand out like, look, this is what we have found.
Just as the other two spellcasters look over, underneath some of the coins, you can see the very edges of a book at the bottom. Looks like somebody tried to cover it with all the coins, so nobody would see that.
All right. Well, I'll come over and shift coins aside to pull the book out and take a look at it. What's the cover look like?
It's a very worn book. It's leather bound, but you can see there's a bunch of scratches into the flesh of the leather. It leaves the dark and stained surface marred with these light like imperfections. There's no writing on the cover or the spine. All right, so we had a bit of an error with this episode. The last portion got cut off somehow. I think we had a video glitch. What happens essentially is after the Ogre Titan is defeated, they find this old book, this tome with instructions inscribed within it on how to create Ogre Titans. It's something that Carol has heard about before in their past, and this is something that's definitely a big thing for this character to try to resolve. So they find that book, then they take a rest, and they need to figure out how to send word to Liam that they may need to stay a little bit longer because they're all a little wounded, and they don't want to go sneaking back up through the above ground horde of goblins, hobgoblins, mercenaries, and 2 ogres. So we'll figure out how that goes next episode for them.